Yo, what's popping? So I'm here about a rule that is pointed out by Selfless Brad, the coach of the Atlanta Reign, about qualifying for the midseason madness. So he says some teams are going to have their entire season snowballed away from them. It's never fun to get a last minute rule change, but for the sake of fairness, the midseason madness needs independent qualifiers as soon as possible. For context, currently a team's stage 1 results tally towards the qualification for Hawaii. This means any team that didn't make it to Dallas due to strength of schedule or a slow start has a massive uphill battle to qualify for the midseason madness and by proxy the eventual playoffs. So what does this really mean? So, right, the teams that made it to the kickoff clash, let's look at NA for example, because this is where it is more evident, right? The Washington Justice have 4 points at 3-3, while the London Spitfire have 3 points at 3-3. So let's say that Washington go 3-3 again, but this time they go -2, right? Like London's record. And London go 3-3 and go 0, like Washington's record. Because London had a better stage, and maybe it's because they had a hard strength of schedule in the first stage or something like that, they still will lose to the Washington Justice going in. We can go even further than this. We can say London go 4-2 and Washington Justice go 3-3. But because Washington Justice have that extra point from the kickoff clash, they get into the midseason madness. And that doesn't seem like a huge deal off the bat. You'd say, oh, well, the better team throughout the season should get more points. But the problem with that is because they were better, or because they got into the kickoff clash, not necessarily because they were better, it gives them another point by qualifying for the midseason madness. So London, despite maybe being a better team at that point or a better team overall, because Washington were better earlier or they had an easier schedule earlier or whatever it is, they will get another point in the midseason madness because they got a point in the kickoff clash. That's a core problem with this. So, how do we fix this? It's quite easy, really. Even if you don't want to make it so that only these schedule games matter, you can still take away the points earned in the kickoff clash until you get to the playoffs, in which case they count for playoffs. So award those points at the end rather than the beginning. That's the easiest way to do it. Because yes, I understand wanting the midseason madness to be from the entire first half of the season. That makes sense to me because it's the midseason madness. You want the like prior stage to matter maybe, and that would even out strength of schedule, right? Because you should. Well, it's not actually how it works out because I have noticed some teams will play someone in the first half as well as the second half, so it doesn't completely turn out. But it should lower the strength of schedule stuff between stages, which makes sense for midseason madness because it's crossplay, right? Or cross region rather. So the easiest thing is just take away those points and award them at the end instead of the beginning. Like, look at this. Like, it's almost impossible, even if Shock go like have a miserable stage because they have that extra point. It's not that bad, or yeah, just an extra point. I guess that's kind of a bad example, but like the Gladiators, for example, if the Gladiators have a pretty mid stage because they got 3 whole points, they're just chilling, right? Despite having lost 2 games in the regular season, and maybe they go 3-3 here, or they go 2-4, they still make it in. They'll still make it in on 2-4, no doubt, right? But they won't make it in on 2-4 if without those 3 points. So it affects things like that. How much will this really matter in the end? I think it will matter maybe for Boston, maybe for London. It could matter for some of these teams that are trying to pull in because that extra point, you might say, oh, it's only a point, but it's actually very impactful. Even if we look at APAC, look at how big of a difference this is between Philly and Chengdu. That's a crazy gap. It's almost impossible for Chengdu to make it into the midseason madness like this. They have 2 points. Philly have 5. They're fighting. They have to get 3 more wins than Philly to tie them. That's insane. That's insane. And that just can't happen. So that's what's happening today. That's what Brad was talking about on Twitter. If anyone really couldn't wrap their head around it or whatever, because I know there's a lot of questions going on. So that's that. And have yourself a good one. Like if you enjoy the content. Subscribe for more Overwatch League stuff. And yeah, deuces.